Everyone, welcome to our house for this match for the campaign against cancer 2020. Today it's gonna be me, Filippo, versus Anna. So we are playing first order. For me, I'm playing Kylo, Blackout, and Major Volreg. Both Blackout and Volreg are equipped with Fanatical, while Anna is playing her favorite squad, to 104th Battalion Pilot on the ARC 170, Obi-Wan Kenobi with R4 and Delta 7B configuration, and Rick Collier with Predator and R4. So, friendly handshake before beginning the match. And there we go with the start of the setup. The Republic squad sits at 199 points, so Anna gets to choose who has initiative, and obviously the initiative is mine. There we go with the first rock, center of the table. 6 asteroids is kinda unusual to see nowadays, as many players prefer to have gas clouds. And then we go building the cluster of asteroids, starting from the center of the table, going out in the usual 2 from the edges arrangement. Since we've not been playing for months, as you can see, we are going really cautious with the asteroids. And there we go, rocks are placed. Then the deploy starts with the ARC 170s, fielding on one corner of the map. Potentially, this looks like it's going to be a showdown along the diagonal of the battlefield, or maybe a honorable joust. Okay, now since Filippo has initiative, it's the turn of his initiative 5 pilots. There goes Blackout on the opposite corner of the battlefield, and Kylo Ren. Just so you know, Kylo Ren is sitting in the larger TIE silencer, the one with red stripes. Anna goes to conclude her deployment, fielding Rick Oli in a custom color scheme, and Obi-Wan Kenobi in his Delta 7. So she initially starts with a side deploy for Obi-Wan, then changing her mind. and goes in for a more focused deploy with both aces on the same side. And there it goes, the last piece of the game. Major Borreg, initiative 6, side deploy for him. So 5 minutes on the clock, setup is concluded, and the players go to dials for round number 1. Speaking of the Galactic Republic squad, usually squads like this with 2 beefy ships and 2 aces tend to run on one side of the table and then close in towards the center, possibly, dodging asteroids and chasing for the enemies. But since Anna has to confront 3 high initiative aces that are really, really squishy, possibly she might want, to use another tactic. So let's see how this rolls. And another friendly handshake. Match actually begins. In initiative order, the first ships to move are obviously the Arc pilots. Like, these ships in 2nd edition have gained I would say a pretty slow dial. It's definitely not one of the best dials out there, and it's become a bit more complicated to move them around the table. So let's see how Anna rolls. The first ship moves along the side of the table and gets focus action, while the second pilot does a very bold maneuver and opens up, widening the fire arc, but accidentally landing on an obstacle. So there's the potential for 1 damage straight away. Let's see how this goes. Okay, focus, no damage. Still, the arc doesn't get to shoot, but given the distance between the 2 squads, that should not be an issue. Skipping action step, now it's the turn of the first order pilot. Blackout goes first. Blackout does a very calculative maneuver, a straight maneuver alongside the table edge. No action for him, while Kylo does the same. Still, but a shorter maneuver. It's a 2-speed instead of a 3-speed, taking some distance between the 2 ships. Now there he goes. Kylo boosts inside and starts setting up a very distant kill box for the other ships. Second action barrel roll. It's a red barrel roll using the TIE silencer ability, and there goes the stress token. Obi-Wan, sharp 2. Enrique does a sharp 3 bumping onto Obi-Wan, but given it's the opening, that's not a big deal. And yes, as you can see, I'm playing barefoot, like a former world champion has taught me. Major Volreg. Speed 3 turn, closing in with the rest of the formation. So now there's the decision. Should Major Volreg stay there, boost in, barrel roll, widen the formation? No, Major Volreg stays there. No additional movements for him, no repositioning. Now back to dials for round 2, with 65 minutes on the clock. So, speaking of tactics, the first order here is expected to sneak through the asteroid field, possibly trying to engage, disengage, and then re-engage, taking advantage of the obstacles, especially for Blackout given his pilot ability, while the Galactic Republic is expected to send in the beefy Arc 170s to, soak up damage, while having the two aces pummel the first order from the sides. Okay, all first order dials are down, entertaining dance in the meantime. There we go, Obi's dial, and there we go. Also recalling as a maneuver. First maneuver reveal is the Arc 170. Oh, slight bump to the ship, and the Arc 170 does a one bank to clear the asteroid.
They're touching each other, so it kind of really helped in the situation. And I was like, what is under my ship? Why is it rocking?
Yes, in the meantime, Anna forgot that she was sitting on a rock. She was like, oh, what is under my ship? There we go. One bank, clears the rock, no additional bumps or obstacles. Tries to set up the firing arc in within the obstacles of the field. Let's see the second arc 170. Will it go straight? Will it dive into the center of the table? It dives in following the other. There we go.
Listen, sir, I'd really like to shoot you first. Alright. Well, I don't think my initiative will permit that. No. Alright, I want to do the basic power roll. A basic power. So I can do it's a great.
Okay, interesting choice for action because the arc goes for a red barrel roll.
As possible. Next time, I'm just going to set them all up, like one in Australia, one in Canada.
Okay, the firing arcs are widespread, waiting for the first order pilots. There goes the stress token for the barrel roll. And now it's the first order pilot's turn. Kylo first. Kylo does a blue 2-speed turn, swerving away from the battlefield. And then boosting in again. To prepare for the engagement, possibly next turn. So as long as we're seeing now, there's possibly no shots traded between Kylo and other ships. They're very, very distant. While Blackout goes in for a 2-speed bank towards the center of the table. Action, let's see. Maybe it could be a good idea to boost in to lessen the distance between the two squads. Maybe start shooting one turn earlier. Straight boost, okay. Now, let's see the Republic cases. Obi-Wan is the first to move.
A lazy free, free bank. A lazy free. Doesn't want to work too hard. He's just got Commento hours.
There it goes. 3-speed bank.
Oh, nobody touches each other. Forward.
And it's an easy clear thanks to the previous barrel roll. Obi-Wan now can decide whether to use or not his ship ability, the fine-tuned controls, and Anna decides to spend a force token to use it. So let's see what's going to happen. She now has the option to either barrel roll or boost, and she decides to boost straight forward.
Okay, now I have Rick Olay, and he's going to do three.
Rick reveals a 3-speed maneuver.
Look,
and that's another rock for Anna. Okay, this opening has been very, very, very uncautious. Okay. Bit of a sloppy maneuver. We're definitely out of shape in this game. Okay, red die. But the bold maneuver has paid no damage for recalling. And Major Vonreg, last ship to move. Boost to the right, towards the beginning edge of the table, but no shots traded. Okay, back to dials again. Cleanup phase. We might see the first engagement in turn 3 as the distances are closing in. So Filippo's tactic here is to have Kylo and Vorreg try to flank the opposition, while Blackout tries to out-dodge the enemies, or at least use the obstacles in his favor, given the pilot ability that takes away 2 green dice of the defending ship on his attacks. Anna instead is boldly sending Obi on a flank, appearingly, while Rick is sitting back in the formation, possibly to deliver some of the punch he's packing onto the First Order ships. Let's see what very random tactic they both came up with. So, dials are going down. Let's see how this flanking goes. So Anna here is in a good spot because she can decide to either keep her whole formation on her side of the table and just go along with it and try to avoid being flanked on one side, protecting, her side of the table, or she can decide to turn left her ships towards the center of the table to try to break the First Order formation. On the other hand, Filippo is trying to exploit as much as possible the agility and the speed of his ships to not be outflanked by the Republic aces. Okay, Anna decides to keep with the first arc her side of the table, pointing slightly outside, grabbing the target lock on Kylo.
I did a lazy too.
Okay, she decides to
Perhaps
open up the formation. There we go, shoot clear, and it clears easy, losing the ID token in the process, but that's fine. So, 2-speed bank to the left,
action would be
goes forward and grabs a target lock on Von Reg.
very exciting. Okay. More
Initiative 5, Kylo. Kylo supposedly is going around the rock to try and dodge as much as possible that nasty arc 170, and there he goes, sharp 2, sharp 2, possibly boosting in to get a range 1 shot, or sitting at, what's that, range 2 to be more preservative.
Oh, did you just take out my line of sight?
See the action, focus token for Kylo. So no boosting, no barrel rolling. So Blackout has an ability that allows him to remove 2 of your green dice his attack. Blackout, a straight 3-speed maneuver, keeps himself out of the firing arc of the arcs, is able to land a shot on the pink arc. Okay, Rick pushes on the pedal. 3-speed bank. That provides him a free evade action. You fully perform a 3 to 5 speed action. So free evade action for Rick, and then his action step. Okay, calculative focus token. No moving forward, the risk of being picked at range 1 by 2 silencer is a bit dreading, I would say. It's Obi-Wan's turn. Okay, Obi-Wan reveals a 3 bank to the left. Slippery playmats, the joy of every player. Okay, sorry, a 3 bank to the right. Ooh, that's very tight between the asteroid and the other ship, but Obi-Wan is a very good pilot, and he manages to squeeze in. And the arc goes back. Let's see if Obi repositions thanks to his ability and his actions. Okay, Anna decides to use her fine-tuned controls. What does she do? That's boost or a barrel roll? It's a straight boost. Okay, a straight boost closing in on blackout. Oh, that's really, really tough. Anna closes in on blackout, but possibly ends in the threat zone of Major Vonreg. Let's see the last maneuver of the turn. Okay, she also gets a target lock on blackout. Okay, Vorreg instead reveals a 4-speed straight maneuver, goes straight along the edge of the table to try and dodge the firing arcs of Rick and Obi. Now at this point, Filippo has the choice to either barrel roll, boost, and somehow try to avoid the threat of the arc pilot. Despite his high agility of the ship still being faced by potentially a range one shot from the arc, it's, well, tough experience. Closes in the distance to get a high initiative range one shot. There we go, round 3, the first engagement of the game. Dice tray in the high part of the screen. Let's see how this goes. Vonreg is the first one to shoot. It's going to be 4 red dice against 1 green die at range 1. Oh, two hits for Vonreg. Oh, blank. There go 2 shields on the arc. So the arc at the bottom of Anna's squad roster loses 2 shields. There we go. Now, since the first order has initiative, it's going to shoot first. Let's see who shoots first, Blackout or Kylo. Yes, that was okay, Blackout is shooting first. It's 3 dice. Yeah, okay, Blackout shoots on Ricoli. It's gonna be fun. A hit and a crit. Ooh. Full blank for Rick. He uses an evade and loses a shield. Okay, Kylo checks the distance on Rick Holy, range 2 shot, steal 3 dice, 2 hits and a crit. Poor Rick has been caught in crossfire. Let's see how he goes.
You pretend I'm the ocean and you're a lightsaber. Okay. I have one.
So, paint on one die, the other one is blank, can't be turned because there are no more evade tokens.
Alright, then I'm not going to spend it. I'm going to be confident
And
with getting. Is it the crit on shield? Please tell
poor
me.
Rick.
Yes, because was it 20 seconds last time?
Okay, let's see if Anna spends the focus token
So, you
to.
know what? I'm going to go confidently ahead with the delay and
Okay, no, she goes full on with the bold tactic, decides not to spend the focus token, and sucks up 3 damage on Rick to preserve that focus token for the attack. Okay, myself, I maybe would not have done the same choice, but possibly this pays out later. Only one hole left on Recoli and Stunned Pilot. Stunned Pilot on a fast ship is a really nasty crit. Hopefully Anna does not bump and or overlap 2 obstacles anymore. Okay, Obi shoots on Blackout. No, sorry. Rick only shoots on Blackout, but goes blank for sportsmanship. Filippo is rolling dice anyways. So no damage on this shot. Rick blanks it all out. Next pilot in firing order should be Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan with Delta 7 configuration at range 1 is a massive amount of red dice onto Blackout. Oh, are you gonna spend your time? I'm gonna spend my office and I can go back. Anna decides to spend both her fourth points to turn 2 focus results into 2 crits, 2 hits. Okay, Filippo's defense roll is 3 evades, so much paint, resulting in 1 single shield pinged of Blackout. Still, this is not enough to trigger Fanatical. Hey, I was told this is an exhibition match, so doing my best. Okay. Now it's turn. It's a shooting turn for arc pilots. No. When you have after the first the arc pilot to the left of the screen does not have a clear shot on anyone because he doesn't have range on Vorreg or arc on the 2 silencers. So the only one that can shoot is the one at the right of your screen, the undamaged one. Okay, 3 natural hits on the roll. That's a pretty good shot. Let's see what Vorek does. Okay, Anna decides to spend her target lock to reroll the 4th die, possibly resulting in a 4th hit. And no, that's focus, but she doesn't have a token, so equals to blank. Filippo for the defense roll. Okay, 2 shields gone on Vorreg, triggering fanatical from now on. From now on, Vorreg, whenever he obtains a focus result on an attack die, can automatically turn it to a hit. And as our Imperial friends like to say, all guts, no shields, from the Dale Cromwell School of Justing. Okay, shooting phase concluded, clearing the table and back to dials, with 34 minutes remaining on the clock. So this is going to be an interesting turn because the first order has the possibility to swerve to the left of the screen and try to disengage to possibly re-engage from behind the other squad, while Vorreg could do the same on the opposing side, hence trying to avoid as much fire as possible. On the other hand, Anna might want to use as much as possible the rear arcs, the rear firing arcs from the Arc 170s, using long, fast maneuvers and keeping her 2 aces in the fight in the middle of the table. All of this is very, very complicated by the presence of the obstacles, so we might see some bumps, we might see some overlapping and or missing shots in this turn. Let's see how this rolls. Okay, some dials down, the arcs are set, Vorreg is set. It's going to be interesting to see what Rick does in this turn, because at the moment he's caught in the line of fire of 2 silencers. Potentially next turn he will also have Vorreg on his tail, and he only has 1 hull left. Given the fact that 4 ships in this game have initiative 5, he has a pretty good chance of shooting before possibly going down. But the last thing he wants now is a range 1 shot from 2 silencers. Fire priority in this game is really, really important because wasting too many shots on the arcs is not going to help Filippo's tactic, as they can soak up so much damage while the 2 aces are free and able to pummel down the opposing squad. By the way, Obi-Wan has a very good possibility to disengage running towards the bottom part of the screen, so the Filippo's left side of the table. He could technically do a high-speed straight maneuver and then close in with a boost to the right, possibly preceded by a barrel roll. That could be very, very tough to handle for Kylo. Okay, only Obi-Wan style remaining, and there it goes. First dial revealed is the arc. Okay, Anna, correct direction. You're not flying off the board. Kids never fly off the board. It's a tactic that does not pay out. Okay, bank 3 maneuver to the left for the pink arc 170. Keeps the target lock on Kylo. Okay. Anna has improperly moved a target lock token. That's a little mistake in the game, but we'll see how that goes. And the other arc does a 1 speed bank to the right towards the center of the table.
Are you ready? You bought the game a month ago?
Freeing up maneuvering space for Von Reg. Okay, let's see the action on the arc. Could be a barrel roll. No, target lock. Target lock on Von Reg. Hands, meaning that Anna is gonna shoot from the back towards the BA interceptor. No backtracking. Okay, some backtracking allowed. There we go. No backtracking. Still target lock, but with the proper number. There we go. Next ship, Blackout, on the small silencer. Sharp 1 speed turn. Onto Obi. Now, will Blackout stay there, or will Blackout try to barrel roll either on his left or right to block a possible short maneuver from the other ships? Okay, so what I'm going to do is, let's see, Filippo is very carefully calculating the trajectory of his possible reposition to figure out where his firing arc is going to land. Okay, decides to not reposition and just get a focus token, because Obi-Wan is going to go forward just a bit, and maybe Rick is going to close in between the asteroid and the other ship. But then decides to use the ability on his TIE silencer and perform a red barrel roll. There goes the stress token, because the ability on the TIE silencer says after you have performed an action, you can perform a red boost or barrel roll. Kylo, straight 2 speed maneuver, closing in with silly noises on Rick, but exposing himself to an arc shoot from the back. Action step. Focus. When in doubt, focus. Okay, Obi-Wan, finally, for the maneuver. Reveals a 3-speed bank, disengaging the battle. And that's a very good maneuver because Anna managed to find the right timing and pace to take her strongest ace out of the battle. This potentially means that Rick is a bit more exposed in the following turns, but given the fact that half of his points are already taken, he's almost gone. So she has to rely on both the beefiness and the firepower of the arcs and the swiftness of Obi that also packs a punch. Okay, Anna decides not to push further with Obi, so he hides behind an obstacle. Rick moves through Blackout, whose position is marked by a very nice range 1 ruler by the 186 Squadron. Thanks Alex, thanks Ollie. And Rick performs a 3-speed bank maneuver, actually dodging all the arc setup that Filippo did in this turn. There we go. So current situation is Vorreg still has to move, but aside from a blackout shot on the arc, both Anna's aces are safe. Let's see how the Baron moves.
So I can have an evade check, right?
You have
All right. I'm going to have an evade check and I'm not doing this.
Okay, Anna has gotten a free evade action on Rick because he has performed a 3-speed maneuver. Then in her action step, she further boosts straight to gain more freedom of movement in the next turn and keep and put additional distance from her ship and the opponent. Okay, given he has a red ship, Vondreg decides to be the boldest of the boldest pilots. Sharp 1-speed turn towards the center of the table, closing in distance on the arc. Will he boost? Will he boost? Let's see. Because boosting would close in the distance, possibly removing him from the backfiring arc of the arc 170. No, decides not to boost in. He's bold, but not too bold. Focus token in the action step. Because he still has a shot, so possibly that focus token is meant for defense rather than attack. Okay, what's going on? Okay, Anna didn't remember if she actually used target lock or not. Because she used it the turn before. Okay, shooty McShooty phase. I'm seeing red dice being handled. It's Vondreg on the arc. Shaking, 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 and rolling. I can see some paint. It's a hit and 2 focus results. Vondreg will use Fanatical to change one result, and the other one is a blank, goes away. Anna's defense die evaded, so only one hit on the arc. The arc loses its last shield.
With the time we have, you may only get half of those. Okay, you can't you can
Yeah. Definitely blackout on the arc. Two hits. Ooh, out of bounds. Okay, one evade. So it's one damage on the arc. No shields, 5 hull remaining. Rick has no shot. Obi has no shot. Kylo has potentially no shot. Okay. The arc at the left of the screen, the undamaged one, is going to shoot on Kylo Ren from the back arc. So it's 2 dice against 3 agility. On Kylo, right?
Yeah, Kylo doesn't have the.
I can't remember that.
So, I'm gonna use my eye.
Okay, spends the focus token to turn it into 2 hits.
And I use my eye and
Defense roll. Ooh, bad roll. Bad roll. 2 blanks and a focus result. Let's see how Filippo mods his dice. He can use the focus token or the force token. He's gonna use the focus. Okay, 1 damage on Kylo. He now has the option to assign the condition, I'll show you the dark side, to the arc pilot. And he does. Spends force token, chooses a damage card with the pilot trait. If the arc 170 suffers a critical damage in one of the following turns, instead of the damage card fished from the damage deck, this card exposed at the bottom of the table will be assigned to that ship. The chosen card is Panicked Pilot, that provides 2 stress tokens to the ship. I mean, given the maneuvering dial of the arc, it's a pretty good card, in my opinion, to assign because it has not so many blue maneuvers, and 2 stress tokens might complicate things in the process of trying to set up a kill box with any of the 2 arcs of the ship. Okay, the second arc goes in on Vonreg. Let's see if he survives. 2 red dice against 3 green. Sorry, 3 red dice, because it's range 1. 3 red dice, 1, 2, 3. Whoa. A hit and a crit. Let's see the defense roll. Full paint. Full paint. All natties D. All natties Ds. All natties. D, Yun, I'm dedicating this roll to you. Very lucky roll on Filippo's side, because actually Vonreg is not in a very good position at the moment. I mean, it's only like 5 years. Exactly. Okay, the turn is over, clearing the table from green tokens. And back to dials. Anna is currently leading, having obtained half of Major Vonreg, clocking in at 30 points. while Filippo is still behind of points as he has only taken half of Rick Oli, equaling to 23 points. Given the fact that there's about 15 minutes on the clock, the match could go either side from the moment, especially if Anna loses Rick Oli. Um, Anyways, Obi-Wan represents a major threat for the First Order ships because he has a very good stat line and the possibility to reposition multiple times thanks to his abilities. On the other hand, the impossibility to perform an evade action of the TIE silencers could be a problem for Filippo. Okay, dial down for Vonreg, 2 arcs. We are still missing Rick, Obi, and Kylo. Some trash talking going on at the table. That's definitely Anna trying to bank in on the advantage she has for the moment, while his very sportsman opponent reminds her to recharge her force tokens. That's the sportsmanship we like. It depends if you're doing that on purpose. Then it's okay. Last dial is down. 13 minutes remaining, approximately, and the round starts. First maneuver is the arc at the left of the screen. Does a sharp 2, starts a very slow re-engaging process. That's the biggest issue with these ships. The arcs are very interesting ships, sorry, in my opinion, but their dial is really, really problematic. I've been playing a similar squad at the last World Championships, and my big issues was uh, trying to stay in combat with both Arc 170s. That was a really, really, really big challenge. Like, also, I was my strongest opponent because I was playing really, really badly. And thanks again to all my opponents for having the patience to deal with me not playing really, really well. Okay. Action steps for the arcs, target lock, and target lock. Focus token for the other arc. Okay, so the arc on the right is going to have a fully modded shot if Vonreg lands in his kill box. Okay, Blackout closes in. Blackout closes in with a sharp 2. Sharp 2 closing in, still in danger. First action is a focus token, and Filippo repeats the same pattern as before. To land. Okay, all of these is performed to land an obstructed shot. An obstructed shot on the arc, hence triggering Blackout's ship ability. Stress token. Yeah, we're missing a stress token on Blackout. There we go. Kylo reveals a hard 1 turn. I just got the hard 2. Okay, all of this is possibly counterintuitive given the firing priority that Filippo should have, eliminating all the aces early and then dealing with the arcs. But given the 10 minutes remaining for the match, maybe banking in the points of the arc is pretty useful. Okay, Obi-Wan re-engages from behind the rock, emerges with a sharp 2 turn. There we go, sitting in at momentarily range 2 apparently from Kylo. Let's see if he boosts in. It will be the most obvious choice as he's sitting behind the silencer. There it goes. Boosting in, clearing the boost with fine-tooth controls. Marvelous maneuver by Anna. And action step. What's going on? Focus token. Okay, so she's gonna max out the attack with 4 dice at range 1. And Rick. Okay, Rick goes for the Talon roll, putting distance and turning his firing arc towards the center of the table. So Anna's de-engaging and re-engaging maneuver has been a success up to now. She gets a stress token for this maneuver. There we go, and Rick is facing towards the center of the table. 8 minutes remaining. This could be a very decisive turn. Let's see Von Reg's maneuver. Slow maneuver for Von Reg. Slow maneuver for Von Reg. Filippo is trying to bank in on the points from the damaged arc, 170, and possibly using as much of his defensive capabilities to keep as many points as possible. Another bold tactic on Von Reg, because red ships go faster, he decides to boost in again, tokenless against the arc. Will his initiative shot pay? He's shooting at initiative 6, possibly removing the threat of the arc before he gets a shot. Okay, Von Reg goes in for the shot. It's 4 red dice. Not so much paint. It's 2 hits, 1 provided by Fanatical. Anna defends with 1 green die, and that's a blank. So it's 2 damage. Two damage on the arc 170. Slight error on the interface. Actually, the arc has 3 hull left. Next in line for shooting. So Blackout has the option also to shoot a tokenless range 3 Rick Oli. or try to eliminate the arc. Given the fact that Blackout maneuvered a lot to get this obstructed shot, I think Filippo's going to go for the arc. The difference in points between Rick, Oli, and the arc is not that much, and if he eliminates the arc and Volreg stays in play, his chances to also get Rick in the following turns should be higher. Let's see what happens. Okay, it's hit crit from Blackout to the arc that doesn't get to roll any damage, so the arc is dead. And as Patrick would say, the piece is removed from the table. Togli il pezzo. So we have the first victim of the game with 4 minutes remaining, and it's the arc. Currently, Filippo is leading for 65 points against 30 points for Anna. Kylo does not have a shot anymore because he doesn't have arc on Rick. So it's Anna's turn to shoot. Who shoots first? I'm sorry, Filippo, no judges for you. Obi-Wan has a range 1 shot on Blackout as well. And that means 4 dice with focus and possibly force points on your ship. She spends target lock previously acquired. She could full mod, and there it goes. That's 4 hits. 3 hits and a crit on Blackout. Ooh, unlucky roll. So it's a total of 4 damage, 2 absorbed by the shield, then a damage. So the critical damage of Blackout should be a stunned pilot. In order to perform an action, wounded pilot. In order to perform an action, he has to first flip that card. You're not sitting in a good position, Blackout. You're not sitting in a good position. So now it's Rick's opportunity to shoot. He could be the game changer. Let's see what Rick does. He has performed a 3-speed maneuver, so he adds a die onto Blackout.
Let's try. 2. Yeah, you roll it. And then I get 1 more because I do. Because you need a 3-speed maneuver.
Yes, 3-speed maneuver against a 2-speed maneuver. So it's all in your hands, Rick. Too many dice. Oh, 2 hits unmodded. All focus results for Filippo, and he has no focus token, and that means that Blackout is poof. Gone. Anna brutally takes the lead with a 30 points lead on Filippo, all thanks to Rick Oli. The bold tactics we have seen at the beginning of the game really paid off, and with 30 seconds on the clock, we have only one round remaining in this game. Let's see if Filippo manages to turn the tide of the game, or the Republic will take the victory. That full health Obi-Wan is a real menace, and a 2-hull Major Vonreg is definitely not in a sweet spot for the late game. You get Okay, dials down for Kylo, Obi, the remaining arc, untouched full health. Now we're waiting on Vonreg and Rick for the last maneuvers of the game. What will Vonreg do? What will Vonreg do? He has the option to circle the asteroids or very cowardly disengage and bank on points. Okay, Anna tries another bold tactic, a sharp 2 to the left for her arc. With some assistance from the opponent, she clears it. No issues, no rocks, maybe an obstructed shot. But that's definitely acceptable for the last turn of the game.
I only have a target lock. So much foresight. Alright, up to you now.
Okay, Kylo goes for a slow speed 1 turn towards the arc. This is meant not only to keep the arc on the arc, sorry for the very bad pun, but also to keep the widest possible firing arc on Ricollier. Focus token, no repositioning.
You can stay there.
Oh yes, repositioning with the second action. We can easily get a stress token as there's no other maneuvers left. There you go. Filippo opening up the firing arc as much as possible. You have seen the very Italian hand gestures that say, my firing arc is very wide open, waiting for you.
Alright, there's 3.
And then Anna throws the curveball, actually disengaging with Rick. She leads the conflict with Ricollier. Free evade action thanks to the high-speed maneuver and a much more defensive focus token. There we go. Obi-Wan closing in on Kylo again on its back. Ah, Obi-Wan, you're really, really nasty. Focus token again to max out damage because he's not getting shot. He's not getting shot unless Vonreg does a choreograph. No?
What did you do?
Okay, what happened is that Filippo totally did not expect Rick to perform a high-speed disengaging maneuver in that direction, and that totally jammed his plan. That jammed his plan. Tokenless, Vonreg, no shot on Rick. It's now impossible to scrape up additional points, getting possible, say, half of an arc and Rick. The game at this point seems pretty much one direction. So let's go for the honorable last turn of shooting. Okay, does he have arc? Eyeballing. Eyeballing, it does have arc.
Do you want to get the laser out? Do you want to get
Yep, there it goes. Vonreg has the shot on the corner of the arc, confirmed by both players.
I actually think you can shoot.
There it goes. Yep. Confirmed shot on the arc.
Yeah.
Should be a range 3 shot, so it's 3 dice against 2. No mods besides the fanatical mod for Vonreg. Anyways, that does not look good. It's 2 hits. 2 hits for Vonreg on the arc. Oh! Okay. Anna decides to keep the focus token, not use it, if she only loses 1 shield. She's going to keep it for the attack, possibly on Kylo. Okay, Kylo manages to shoot on Rick. Okay, they're checking if they have any additional mods, because this could be the decisive role of the game. Let's see. It's 3 hits, and Rick defends with 2 dice. Given the fact that the evade does not add an evade anymore, Rick is gone. Rick is gone. His last hull remaining did not protect him. Yep. Rick is dead. So now Filippo has reduced Anna's lead, but this is definitely not enough. Not enough to turn the tide of the game. There's 2 shots remaining in this game, Obi-Wan and the Arc Pilot.
So please tell me what's it. Did I spend my time with it?
You still have a hunt.
Okay.
This was from all your.
Alright. So everyone is finished with it. So everyone can shoot with us, for us.
Okay, Obi-Wan decides to get the range one shot on Kylo. Whoa! 3 dice show paint.
Oh no, I can't just change it out.
Ah! Only one focus result. It's 2 damage and half of Kylo goes away. So Anna has definitely won the game. Filippo has no way to turn the tide. He can only try to lessen the shame of this defeat by not dying with Supreme Leader Kylo.
Oh, I completely do that. It's good to have a plan, kids. The strategy from day one was shooty. Don't get shooty. So I'm in range 2.
Let's see if Kylo manages to have a Hail Mary defensive roll against 3 red dice from the arc with a focus mod. Oh, full paint. What can he do? He can't do much against that. Let's go for the Hail Mary and try not to die.
Oh, I have to hit him out.
I didn't do well. I didn't do well. I exactly got 2 hits to get Okay, so Kylo manages to not awfully explode in space, still grasps to his last hope. And that's the closing result for the game. Anna takes the win with 133 points against 88 points for Filippo, with a margin of victory of 45 points. Yeah, this is the final. Neil? Congratulations. There you go, Anna. Congratulations for your victory in this Italy versus Australia derby for the campaign against cancer 2020. Just so you know, as an additional tally for this game, we put on the plate the wonderful, fantastic, challenging opportunity to do dishes for 1 week. The loser washes dishes for 1 week. Yes, Anna wins with a 45 points lead, and Filippo gets to wash the dishes for 1 week. Okay, Anna is briefly leaving the table. Okay, where did she go? We can see some desperation on the other side. Oh, how nice. She gives a consolation trophy to the opponent that readily wears it. Yeah, I know, on the wrong hand, I know. But, we can't shake hands with the left hand. And he's throwing the sponge as well. It's a complete surrender for the First Order. Good on you, Anna, for winning. Guys, thanks for having us, and we hopefully gonna see you soon, maybe at a large-ish event, possibly Worlds someday. And everybody stay safe.
And thank you so much for this opportunity. It's great to be a part of this.
You have heard both players thanking you for having us play for you in a small exhibition match. See you soon and stay safe.